Alrighty guys, as you know, tomorrow is our last test before finals. So I did want to just go through the study guide one last time. Remember, tomorrow you do have two options for your 3 stars. You either have your fill in the blank 3 stars, or you do have your matching. If you are going to go with the fill in the blank 3 stars, the first question is, what is the standard form of a quadratic equation? The standard form is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay? The vertex form, which is the next blank, is y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. All right, and finally, the last piece of this is the AOS, which is x is equal to the opposite of b over 2a. So if you are doing the fill-in, there's your fill in the blank. Okay, if you were to choose the other option, which is, of course, the matching, all right, your first question is, what is the vertex form? Okay, the vertex form is going to be C. Okay, standard form will be B. All right, how to find the y-coordinate of the vertex when the equation is in standard form. In order to do that, you need to substitute your x value, which is f. Okay, how to find the x-coordinate of the vertex when the equation is in vertex form? That is going to be a. Okay, and finally, how to find the axis of symmetry. All right, that's just your axis of symmetry formula, which is the opposite of b over 2a, which in this case is d. All right. Moving forward, all right, the tests are both the same after the 3 stars. That's the only difference. Okay. So from here on out, you do need to be able to identify which form you are in order to figure out where you need to start. Okay. If you are in standard form, you should always be starting with your axis of symmetry formula. In this case, number 2, 3, and 4 all have to do with an equation that is in standard form. So therefore, I need to start with my axis of symmetry formula. So for number 2, the axis of symmetry formula is x is equal to the opposite of b over 2a. Okay, plug that in. All right, in this case, a is here, b is here, c is there. All right, so the opposite of b, I see -4, the opposite of that would be a +4. All right, and then I have 2 times a is 2. All right, so remember, you do the multiplication on the bottom first, so therefore you have 4 over 2 times 2, which is 4, which reduces to 1. So there's my first answer there, x is equal to 1. All right, the second question asks you for the vertex. Okay, in order to get the vertex, you need an x-coordinate and a y-coordinate. You already have the x-coordinate from number 2. What you're going to do with that is plug it into the equation. So I have 2 times 1 squared minus 4 times 1 plus 6. You go ahead and you plug it into a calculator or do it in your head. Doesn't matter to me. That's going to give you y is equal to 4. Okay. Then your answer for this is the combination of both. It's the answer from number 1 and this answer here. Okay, so there's your vertex. All right, the last piece to this is your y-intercept. When you are in standard form, the y-intercept is easy. Okay, the y-intercept's formula is going to be 0c. Okay, in this case, I look up at my equation. My c value is 6, so my answer will be 0, 6. Okay, nothing too crazy about that question there. All right, these next 3 questions have to deal with this equation here. Okay, in this case, we did miss a square here, but that doesn't really matter to us that much. Okay, in this case, though, we do have a equation that's in vertex form. Okay, so vertex form, we're no longer dealing with ABC, we're dealing with A, H, and K. All right, I strongly recommend that you start with number 6 in this case, because remember, with our vertex, the vertex will always be, for us, the opposite of H and then K. Okay, so H right there, I see a +1, which means when I'm plugging into my vertex, it better be -1. Okay, and then finally K is -3. So that fills that question out. Why you should start there is because number 5 says the axis of symmetry. Well, the axis of symmetry is the x-coordinate of the vertex. Okay? The bottom question asks you for the minimum of the quadratic. Okay? The minimum is the y-coordinate of the vertex. So if you find the vertex, you actually get both of those answers. So you probably start with the vertex. Okay? Moving on past the first page here. All right, number 8. Okay, we are in standard form, and then we need to take that and move it into vertex form. All right, vertex form, just so we have it written out again, is y is equal to a times x minus h squared plus k. All right, so the 3 things I gotta find. I gotta find a, I gotta find h, and I gotta find k. The one thing that is nice about this is a is already given to you. A comes from the a in the standard form equation. So in this case, my a is -3. And then pretty much everywhere else we start in the same spot. This is what we're gonna do pretty much from here on out. And we're gonna go with the opposite b over 2a to figure out what h is. Okay, this is gonna give us the h value. All right, so the opposite of b is -12. Okay, 2 times a. All right. So really quickly, -12 over, all right, 2 times -3 is -6. Go ahead and reduce that, you get 2. So there's my h is 2. In order to get my k, I just need to plug that 2 into the equation above. So k is going to equal -3 times 2 squared plus 12 times 2 plus 5, okay? And all you have to do is go ahead and plug that into a calculator. All right, it should give you k is going to be 17. So I now have all 3 pieces. I just have to plug them into the correct spot. So y is equal to a is -3 times x, or minus my h is 2. Okay, and my k is 17. All right, so that's how you do that there. You just have to find all 3 pieces, and then you go ahead and you plug them into the correct spot. Now when you get to the word problems, any word problem that you have on this test, okay, is going to start in the exact same spot. It's going to start with the opposite of b over 2a. All of your word problems will start there, and you can move forward from that spot there. So in this case, the opposite of b would be -600 over 2 times a.
Please report to the dean's office. Deandra Dillon.
So just reducing this really quick, -600 over -30, okay, which would give me 20. All right, this gives me my charge for the largest profit. Okay, this doesn't ask me what is the profit, it's just asking me what do I charge. So I'm actually done with this question. That is my answer right there. Okay, your next word problem. All right, again, every single word problem, we start with the exact same spot. We are starting with the opposite of b over 2a. Okay, so if I start with that, I should have, excuse me, -550 over 2 times -2.5. All right, go ahead and simplify this a little bit. Okay, you should end up with 110 here. Okay, in this case, that is the price. However, it doesn't want me just to get the price, it wants me to get the revenue. So I'm gonna have to take that price and I'm gonna have to plug it in. When I plug it into my equation, so -2.5 times 110 squared, plus 550 times 110. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go to my calculator, type that in, and I believe it gives me 30,250. And that is the total revenue, and I definitely need that for my answer, so that's what I'm going to be looking for. Okay, your next question here, all right, number 11. Okay, number 11 is it says to write the equation in vertex form. So vertex form is y is equal to a times x minus h squared plus k. All right, they give you a graph, so because they give you this graph here, it already gives you your h and your k. Your h and your k comes from your vertex. All right, so I go ahead and I have 2 of my 3 letters that I need. All right, and I need one more. I need to find the a. In order to find the a, you take the last piece of information they give you. They give you that last point down there, that 5, -4. Okay, 5 is going to be your x, -4 is going to be your y, and it's a simple plug in and simplify. Okay, so y is -4 is equal to a times x is 5. Okay, it's just fill in the blanks there, essentially. Okay, go ahead and simplify this. I'm going to skip a step here, I guess. 5 minus 3 is 2. 2 squared is 4, so I'm going to end up with 4a over here, plus 4. All right, subtract 4 from both sides. You have -8 is equal to 4a. And finally, you are ending up with a is equal to -2 when you divide there. Okay, after you get all 3 pieces, go ahead and sub them into the equation. So y equals -2 times x minus 3 squared plus 4. All right, it's not too much, at least I don't think it is. But that ends actually your multiple choice section for this test. Okay. So moving forward, this is all going to be free response. So we can't. I mean, as you can see, it's almost half the test. You really can't skip the free response this time. If you're one of those people that does that, you're going to be in trouble for this test because it just won't be good for you. All right. Now, though, that being said, this is a word problem. Okay, and like I've said earlier in this video, every word problem we start in the exact same spot. Okay, we start with the opposite of b over 2a. So I'm going to, again, start there, opposite of b over 2a. All right, so in this case, my b value is 38.4, so the opposite would be -38.4, okay, over 2 times a, okay. So I go ahead and I'm just going to type that into a calculator. I'm not going to simplify anything at all right now. I'm just going to type that into a calculator. I do get 1.2. All right, that right there is worth 2 of the 4 points. So if you just do that, you get half credit on this problem. The rest of this problem, all you got to do is plug that in. Again, these are all calculator problems, guys, so you should be able to handle it. All right, if I plug in that 1.2, okay, 38.4 times 1.2 plus 0.96. Okay, if I plug that all in the calculator, I do end up with 24. So I answered both questions there. You get your full credit with answering both. Okay, if you make a mistake on one of them, I'll only dock you once. Okay, I'm not going to try to dock you twice because that's just rude. All right, so we should be able to get at least 3 out of 4 on this just by plugging stuff in. Okay, here we have a determine whether or not we are quadratic or linear. Okay, in order to do that, you need to have your equation there in the simplest form. It is not, so I have to do that first. So how I'm going to attack that or handle that is I'm going to distribute that -2x into the parentheses. As I do this, I have 4x. All right, -2x times 3x is not positive. It is -6x squared, okay? And then I have -2x times -1 is a positive 2x, okay? From there, combine your like terms. So I believe this looks like -6x squared plus 6x. All right. As we move forward here, you need to determine whether or not this is quadratic or linear. This is a quadratic. The reason being is I have an x squared term. If you have that x squared term in there, you are going to have a quadratic. All right. So that being said, my quadratic term is -6x squared. Okay, my linear term is the term with just the x, so in this case it would be 6x. All right, and lastly, the constant term is the term without any variables to it, so in this case there isn't one, so that would be 0. Okay, there's not a lot really to that problem, okay, other than simplifying, so please do not mess that piece up.